let's get going. Alrighty. It's the Coito show. It is Wednesday night and we are live on Facebook. So hope you can join us on Facebook every Wednesday, 5 p.m. I've been pretty consistent, I gotta admit, for starting this April of 2020 in the midst of a crazy pandemic. So thank you for all the support, because we're gonna enter new territory now. Last year we didn't have a football season. Last year we were, for the most part outside. I got to attend a few games, cover a few games here at Hawaii Sports Fans. Obviously the game at Fresno. You saw the vlog. I'm getting a lot more views on that one. And also the vlog I did at Wyoming, where I actually was a fan. I had credentials for that game, but one of those games that, in Laramie that are, I'm just not looking forward to going back to that place. I'm sorry if you're a Wyoming Cowboy fan. You go watch the vlog anyways. Go check out what it's like to have game day in Laramie. It's a very unique experience. Everywhere in college football is unique, for sure. And Laramie is definitely one of those places. And all the Mountain West provides some seriously unique places. Go check that out. That is on all social media right now. And like we said, on Facebook, go join us. And also during this pandemic, we were able to obviously not just start this podcast, start this live stream. Well, I didn't actually start putting this on the podcast form until later in the year. So I'll shout out to everyone who encouraged me, because this started just as a live streaming thing. My first show was with Shane, and you see him. If you're watching the Facebook Live, you see I have Shane's picture up there. And the reason I have his picture up there is because I got to see him, first of all, this past week, while I was at home. But I also got to see this new shirt that he's wearing. So if you're seeing it, he has a great message on it, and it says "Retire 15." So that's something I want to talk about, because that's a movement that I would like to see continue. I right now, there are still a lot of raw emotion. For me personally, like I said, having the opportunity to talk to Colt exactly a year and a few days ago. So on May 24th, and this day that I got to see Shane and a few other friends, we got to hang out in Manoa on University and just reflect a little bit, but also talk about how we can honor him, honor Colt, and what's the best way that we can do that. And I don't know if I brought this up last week in the show, but I talked about Reagan Maui'a, who reached out to me. I talked about this a little bit. We had Tiff Wells last week on the show. If you can check that out. We talk a lot about the Hawaii men's volleyball run to national title, and it's been a great storyline of this year and something we absolutely needed as Hawaii fans in general, as Hawaii football, as Hawaii Rainbow fans. We needed to have that joy. And there's a lot of sorrow that came right after with the news of Colt's passing. And I think the best that we can do right now is continue to remember Colt and honor him, but let's find ways that we can integrate his memory into our program, especially as we move forward into the new facility, which, as a lot of you know, has not come with a little bit of excitement, put it that way, or drama, probably more appropriately. But 9,000 looks like the amount of seats are going to be first year, which is extremely low. I'm not even going to front there. That's a very low number. Even in dire circumstances, that's a small number. But like I know that this is not exactly a year that hasn't had its own set of challenges. So given that we are climbing out of a pandemic as well, I mean, that's just compounded this issue. But the game day experience is so important. It's so important to having a fan base, a strong fan base. And you're going to have a lot of great fans at home, don't get me wrong. But the fans that show up, that's the hardcore. That's the core. And, of course, there are great people at home. I'm not taking away from people who loyally buy pay-per-views, because I have family that does that. I know what that's like. But being in attendance, being a part of the atmosphere. And I talked about this on Monday. with Shane and some of our friends that we hung out, Hawaii fans, and we talked about. For me, I enjoy sitting in the front row, and that's something. If you follow me, you notice I have a front row crew. It's like my friends, my pals. First year is 2007. I was like, and it was just me and my friend Sarah, and then we started slowly building. So we have a party of 8 now. We went from 2 to 8, and my friend Sarah, she's a UH grad, and at that time, obviously, it was a good time to start having season tickets. I was just out of school, and in 2005, I had gone to Michigan State to watch UH play, because even when I was in college in New York, in upstate New York, I was still obviously a huge UH fan and stayed up really, really late to watch all the games. But 2005, when I went to Michigan State, I got to sit next to Terry Brennan, and that was a great experience because he got to talk about his son Colton Brennan, and that's the beginning of my story with Colt. And for me, being able to talk to him and ask him so many questions that I wanted to hear the answers to, and I realize now that so many of you also wanted to hear those answers. It makes me feel even more, blessed, fortunate, any way you want to describe it, because I'm never going to have that moment again. And that is difficult to fathom. That is difficult to swallow. That is difficult to just understand. And, that's a part of life and death. It's hard to make meaning sometimes. And Colt, in any way you look at Colt's life, it's one definitely worth remembering. Absolutely, he is worth memorializing as UH football fans. To me, he is our legend, and we had that guy in so many programs. They get to have all these legends walk on their campus, right? They get to be there at game days. They get to support the team. We have Colt Brennan, and now we have no one. And that's hard to swallow sometimes when you think about he won't be there very much, or he won't be there at all in physical form. But we hope to have him there every week, every game day. Everyone always remembering the legend that is Colt Brennan and what he has done for this program and the life that he lived. The trials and tribulations of Colt Brennan, which were on full display in the interview as well, which he was willing to be open to, which he was willing to talk about. And that's why I really appreciate about him as well during that interview, is that he was really open. And that's why I'm glad that I was able to do the interview, because I don't think anybody else would have challenged him the way that I did. But also make him feel comfortable. And and that's something that Reagan Maui'a, who sent me another email, his fullback there in the backfield while Colt was, standing back there in the shotgun. And Reagan had reached out last week to talk about how, he really felt God had led him to the interview, to my interview, to answer some questions that he had about Colt Brennan and some of the unsavory parts that maybe we don't talk about enough. And it's important because a lot of us are not too far away from being in a critical position, and you never know also how you can be in a position to help and be in a position to uplift. And I hope that we were able to do something like that, and I think we were. At least when we were able to talk to Colt and we were able to reminisce with him and laugh with him, and that's really was medicine to the soul right there for him. To remember. And if you go back and watch in the YouTube video is getting pretty decent amount of views. So thanks to everybody who's been clicking on the YouTube. But you have a guy like Colt who we look at him as in so many different ways, from the peaks of the mountain to the most vulnerable parts. And within him is so much UH football history as well. Just him being carried off the field in a spirit, and the way that he brought together an entire state, the way that they were lining up in droves, the way that they traveled to New Orleans, Louisiana from Hawaii, and more people were in that game than we even have at some games at home. More people in the Superdome that night supporting UH. So that's the amount of fervor that he created. That's the amount of joy that he created. That's the amount of spirit that he created, and that's what needs to come back. Whatever we do, in his in Coach honor, I think what should also be remembered is just how he captivated Hawaii, and how we need to capture that again. We need to capture that moment. And it takes a lot of institutional commitment. Yes, it takes fan commitment, but it takes institutional commitment. And for me, when institutional commitment means putting fans first, always putting the needs of fans first, the common fan, the everyday fan. And, that was me. That was me growing up. I wasn't the kid that was going to Nakoa functions or even sniffing those parts of the arena. I was by myself. I was a little boy. So, I had to understand just how athletics in general, but also collegiate athletics, how it's structured, how there's a financial structure and a backing to it. And I think I've always felt that I understood the purpose of having to need big donorship and big money, but also just how people like me really made up a lot of the loud, a lot of the boisterous, a lot of the exciting parts of the game and of the game experience. And I think that's just as important. And plus, we're fans in a lot of other ways. If you're not donating big to the program, and when we're talking donating big, I mean, there are people donating, more than the price of your car to the state, to the over that even, and multiple times, maybe even the cost of your house to the department. And, that's great. We need those people. But they can only make up so many parts of the department. And that also speaks to a different issue when it comes to why we have some people that have the capability of donating at that level, while some people will never even be able to accumulate that amount of money in their entire life. These people can just casually dispose of. But, that's the name of life. And that's what we're not talking about. But Ching Field, for example, is a place that, whether we like it or not, will become a flashpoint for this university as well, because what we were told in the letters is that, from communication with the department, is that about 15,000 carryover and 9,000 spots. And then when you take away students who apparently have guaranteed 10% spots, you lose another, right there, 900, 10% of 9,000. So how do you split up that other 8,100, especially once you take out the sponsors who are going to eat up another significant portion of tickets? It's going to be difficult. It's also, obviously there is a opposite. There's a grid side, right? We'll see a demand for UH football. We'll see an excitement, a packed stadium, right? Well, I mean, we better. But the nervousness is that for me, and Stephen Tsai actually had an article today about this as well, when people stop doing what they normally do, going to stadiums or doing the routine, they'll stop altogether. And we've seen a lot of that happen in the pandemic as well. So I'll have some pandemic fatigue, I think, and we'll have some people drop off from there. And there are people that took their money back from last year. And there's some of us that kept our money there in the department. So how they go about and determine how they're going to do, seat selection based upon that. I'm not saying it's easy, but at the same time, it has to be done delicately. The reason I say it's delicate is because it's not as simple as just asking people for money and then hoping that they'll donate more money and then giving them the opportunity, even just giving them the opportunity to move up the ladder, even though they don't even know where they are on the ladder. So right there is, I don't know what word you would use for that, but if you're asking people for money for the opportunity to be above other people, and you don't even know where you are already, because you could be above them, you could be way below. So you don't even know what amount of money might get you into the stadium. So, a lot of people are going to take their chances, and that's great. In the short term, the school will make a lot of money off of people who are trying to guarantee their spot in the stadium. And you can be captain or whatever, national champion, and get all kind of levels for H fan or H club. And, there's nothing against anybody who can afford all of that. Like, we need all of those people. And we hope that the people that are the national champions and the people that are able to really carry a lot of the bulk of donations to the school, that's important. And we don't want to diminish that, but I also definitely see how the average fan can be neglected in terms of how we go about the situation as well. And something I want to bring about that I talked about before with Boise, for example. I use them because they've definitely gone the way of, since they've had success. And this is Boise, who's been successful. So this is not us, right? If we look at just since 2000, the success of both programs, one went through the clouds. One, we thought we were following right behind them and we would be at the same level. But, you know, Boise arguably has been in contention for whatever conference title, whatever they've been in contention for, whatever conference they're in. They've always been in contention every year, like for 20 years, right? So, I mean, that's one thing when you're a fan of a program that you can say, like, we have a good chance of winning the conference championship. But at what point does it get to be too much, or where it's not enough to just get there? Because it seemed like that at Boise, because going to the 2019 Mountain West Championship in Boise, my second time there, a lot of us had gone twice to Boise that year. There wasn't the full capacity. There may be half the stadium. And this was a Saturday during the day. This wasn't like there were things that were getting in the way of this game. You know, I was shocked to see how low the attendance was at that game. And it's hard to be like, call out Boise fans, but hey, you're very successful. I would expect you to be up for a conference championship that you're hosting. Like, you know, and this is at Boise, right? At Hawaii, we still would have problems, right? Because of the Division West or West Division title game, which was a couple weeks prior, we barely got over 20,000, or barely hit 20,000 for a divisional championship. So we already see that issue at the UH level. But if we're seeing it at Boise, that's dangerous, because we know that this is a pattern where certain fans feel alienated because of how much things cost. And this is a bigger issue when it comes to money as well, because the ardent college football fans are all going to be like, oh, I mean, I'm a huge pro fan. I'm a huge, obviously, you know who I am as a sports person. But when I hear the arguments against pro sports about people playing for money, the money issue is worse, way worse to me in college, especially in Division I, when coaches' salaries can eat up so much of this money while players can, you know, barely pay for food, some of them. Like, that is insane. And now we are at a point where fans have to subsidize those things. Fans are even called upon more. Subsidize new capital improvements, subsidize coaching salaries. And how much more can you stretch this fan base? Because, yes, we had days where we were averaging in the 40,000s. And now we're going to be at 9,000 capacity at home games. So, solutions. You know, well, Jenny says, true, would expect better turnout at Boise. Yes. Thank you, Jenny, for joining us as well. And all those who are joining us at Facebook. You can join us on Instagram as well, at HI Sports Fans, on Twitter. Follow us on social media. We're going to be talking a lot about our UCLA tour coming up. And I hope you guys can join us. But Hawaii, back to the University of Hawaii and football. Obviously, they are in a situation that is not easy, right? The stadium, without consenting, the athletic department went ahead and suspended all events at Aloha Stadium. Okay, so we get that. Nonetheless, that was end of last year. We took, I think if we were, the goal needed to be on campus, needed to be done quicker. Because now, like I'm saying, like 9,000 is just not enough. Like, critically to me, it's not enough. That's just straight up. Like, I was like, we had a discussion literally on the show about 35 and 50, right? People were like, 35, oh my gosh, but 9? And we're just hoping we're going to get to 9. And we're going to hoping we get to 15 the next year. In the meantime, yes, we hope that people, you know, it induces more demand maybe when we open a new field, but that's still going to be years away. So I'd like to see more bleachers pushed in at least. I'd like to see this go up to at least 15. I mean, pushing in temporary bleachers, doing something to rent, because I think you need to get to that number. But that is one thing that is out of our control, it seems like right now as fans. But what could have been done? Talk to Sean. So I'm going to shout out Sean. This is something Sean Iman. I'm going to shout out him. He talked something he brought up to me, which we've seen in other maybe programs. Yes, we see this around the country. We see this at in the pro level. Partial season tickets. And the partial season would have been able to accommodate all those people. And I think you need to find a way to accommodate all 15,000 somehow. Like you have to find a way. And I know they're going to say you can buy individually. So maybe that will accommodate those that really want to out of those 15. So I'm not saying that. I know they're going to also hold a pool of tickets together for season ticket holders to buy, which is great. But the biggest thing is offending people, and sometimes it's crazy, right? We talk about how people get offended, but it's logical to tell somebody who has been supporting your program through some of the ugliest moments, paying already bigger dollars. Maybe if you're in a low stadium and sitting in the inner circle and you have a family of 4. I have a family of mine. I know I brought this guy on the show before as well, somebody like that. It's a lot of money. It's a lot of money to commit to as a family, especially a local family. And then to turn around and once we go into the on campus, kind of get in, it's going to be rough to get those people back. So that's what I mean by a delicate situation when it comes to how we approach distributing tickets for this new stadium. That would have been one way. Another way is, like I said, I would have liked to see the show go on the road, go to all the neighbor islands. And Fuchsia brought up a good point as well. We talked at the same dinner. We talked about maybe just doing the first several games on the road, right? So maybe Maui has a couple. I would love to see a game on Kauai, a game on the Big Island somewhere. And then that would be great for local fans. I mean, this is the perfect year to do that, especially only got 9,000 people at home. This would have been the perfect year to take the show on the road and to be able to develop a fan base. And I don't think that would have been my personal opinion. If I knew it was going to be 9,000, I certainly would have pushed harder for the Maui thing. Because it's not about the money. Even if you can match the amount of money you can bring in, the revenue you can bring in a game, and you do it at the expense of offending fans, long term, that's not a good thing. And that's a problem. A lot of people don't look long term. They only look short term, especially people who, have salaries, right? Because the rest of us as fans, we don't take salaries. We just are there for the enjoyment of ourselves. We don't make any money. I don't even make any money. And I take people to games and I do these things to build this program from the fan side, to be able to create momentum in the stands, to be able to create movements that can help to build and uplift this program. This is what fans are. This is what hardcore, this is what super fan. That's what that means. Not just going to every game, not just all the games that I go to. And a lot of the games that all of you go to. It's your care and your desire to see things change at the school. Like that is ultimately, the ultimate ulterior motive is just to see us have a good program, a healthy, thriving program. And there's no financial reward for that as a fan, right? It's just that wonderful memory or, just a good feeling of seeing your team win and be good. And that doesn't happen that often when, maybe there's not that vision there for it. And I think the Mountain West in general stands at a dangerous place if Boise is to leave, which I think would be dangerous for the Mountain West if Boise does leave. Because I think the Mountain West takes a huge step back. I mean, that's the best team. It's the best program. So, and they're having problems filling their stands right now because they have bought in completely to, and a lot of bigger programs. They're not alone. They're certainly not alone. But the paradigm around college sports that you appeal first to your big money donors and then you consider your fans next. And whether that's done consciously or not, even if it's done subconsciously, it's still being done. So I don't want to hear that's not being done because I can have more than enough to prove that that's something that's an issue. But the biggest issue that I see with our stadium or with our program right now is the hemorrhaging of fans. And I've talked about this from the first time I've went behind a mic on this show. People are leaving. People are not coming back. How do we change that? Period. I mean, at the end of the day, and of course, the sustainability of the program is going to require a lot of money. If we have a $48, $49, $50 million budget, we don't know where it's being allocated from. So you need these short-term, huge money fundraisers like they're getting. They're going to get a short-term run of influx of funds, which is great. And for anybody that retired to donate it, especially in Colt's name, make sure you tell them that the reason you're donating as well is to see Colt memorialized in some way as well. I think that's something that the department needs to remember forever. That black 15 or the black circle with the white 15 in it, if you see that, I have that logo too on the screen. I'd like to see that on the field and wherever possible. And ultimately, I like to see, and Reagan Maui'a, who wants to come on the show and talk about this, movement that he's trying to start with his teammates and some of those people that he's been close to from the program is to name the field there at Ching Field to be Colt Brennan Field. And I like that idea. I love that idea. I think, like I said, his is a life, his is a career worth remembering forever, but his is a life even more so, a life worth remembering, a life worth looking back on and learning from. Whichever way you're going to spin it on Colt Brennan, because other people will always have their opinions, and that is fine. Because he never pretended that he was a perfect person, and neither did we. But at the same time, he is who he is, and we were with him, and a lot of the fans, we were there for him until the very end. And of course, we couldn't save him, and we couldn't do what, we could only do what we could do. But what we can do now is memorialize him. What we can do now is help to immortalize him in a way that is effective. And I mean that in a way because I think, like I said, his life is so worth remembering. Colt Brennan should be on top of mind every time you get to UH. Every time you step on that complex, thinking about him and thinking about those moments, those highs, those super high moments that he gave us. And thinking about the human side of him as well, and the parts that, as athletes, as football players, as men, we have to look at within ourselves. And Colt taught us a lot of those lessons as well. So, and that's another reason I sincerely believe that it's really important that we consider not only retiring the number, which I think should be done, and mahalo to whoever is putting out that. Put out a change.org, I believe. I signed it, a petition. So I think they're going to get a lot of signatures there. But go find that petition as well. Somebody has it. You can put it in the comments. But I think that is easy to do. I think it's free. I think it's the right thing to do. I think symbolically it will help the program. I think what we need to do is start capturing what that fever was like back in 2007, way back then. Because in 2007 we're talking about how do we capture the 80s and 90s, and we're still doing that. We have to look forward. I'm not saying we're going backwards, but what we had in the back was proof that we, as a community, as an island, as a chain of islands, as a pai'aina, can come together behind one program and become one of the most, I don't know, the best. I'm going to say the best fan base. I love our fan base. I love all the people. I think all of us are super fans. We're great fans. I mean, we've traveled all over. Went to Australia, then to Michigan. We've been all over the place. And obviously it's fun. It's not like it's strenuous saying, oh my gosh, to go and watch football. It's super fun. But, that's the difference between us and a lot of fans. And dealing with, not the best winning percentage. Like, let's be honest. At the end of the day, if people are there to watch their team win, which a lot of people do because we know how they drop off once the team changes. Imagine being a Hawaii fan where every year we got to worry, who's going to come back and what could a record do. And that's why I'm really appreciative that this last season, 4-4 was a great year for UH. But that shouldn't be a standard. That shouldn't be a great year. For me, in my opinion, that was a really great year. And we won a bowl game. That was awesome. That was a cherry on top. But we need to be a Boise. We need to not be around 500 in the conference. We need to be one of the top teams in the conference. And we should already be at that level. And I think Coach Graham is counting on us being there as well. And what he's doing for the program is certainly making me excited. And a lot of people are excited for that. And seeing people like Calvin come back will be huge. But at the same time, I don't think we move forward without remembering Colt in some way that is appropriate, that helps our program to heal from his passing, that helps our fan base heal from his passing, that helps our fan base and our new fan base, people who become Hawaii football fans in the future, learn about Colt Brennan, know him, know his name forever, a name that will never be forgotten. So I think Colt Brennan Field would be a great way, and just you could simply put that on the field, Colt Brennan Field in the 15, and that could just be the name of the field, so players can see that when they walk on that field, that that's a guy that played for this program, that was a Heisman finalist, wearing his lei there in the New York, downtown athletic club, and representing his people, not only in Southern Cal, where he's proud to be from, but also his adopted family, his ohana, and those people that came to really love him, like just plain and simple. And you've seen that in the show, an outpouring of of love and support since Colt's passing was that clearly that he was somebody that was loved. And I think a lot of us still need a way to have closure with that as well. So what I'd like to see, first of all, though, is the school doing things that they can do without having to spend money, because we don't want them to have to just spend money or throw money at things, because throwing money at problems is never the best solution. Like, finding ways to better the solution. Money obviously is always going to be helpful in any situation, but also understanding why we do certain things and how we can improve is going to be even more important, especially how we allocate resources. But that's going to require vision. It's going to require a new vision, a new paradigm of looking at ways of earning money, of attracting fans, of putting butts in the seats at Ching Field, but also maybe standing room there, because I think that is a huge part of the experience at any stadium is standing room. And if you're looking at maybe they're going to have standalone modular, suites, which that might be a thing that might take up some of that room. But I would put in a lot of standing room area, and those are important because that's just walking revenue right there, getting people in the game. And I think that would be really cool and really important to leverage some of that open space and also get some money, because people will pay. They'll pay to stand. A lot of people will pay to stand. Not everybody will, obviously, but a lot of people will, just to be a part of that. And you can pay to have overflow and stand sheriff or in Les Marcami. Imagine if you're Les Marcami and you're on the top. You can see down into the stadium. Like, that'd be cool. And you can have stuff open in Les Marcami. So the goal should be now to open up as much of the campus as possible, not just the viewing area of the stadium, but how do we get people in that complex to feel like they are part of the game atmosphere, even if they can't see the field, even if they don't have a spot in the bleachers. You should be able to have a look at the field. Jenny says, I would pay for standing room. Yeah, for sure. And Shane also just posted, so mahalo Lalo Head. He posted the change.org petition that was created to be sent to so Shannon Wright, mahalo Shannon. Right now there are 344 people that have signed, 45 we got to get to 500, 46, 47, 48 for that. Maybe do they just do that, change the counter as I'm looking at it? Maybe that's how it is, but looks like it's moving up there. Colt is somebody that has brought back a lot of people too who into the fold, or a lot of people who maybe have lost track of UH, and that is really important to capture that excitement that we have from people that maybe kind of fell off after Colt. A lot of people did get caught up in the Colt Brennan phenomenon because it was so outer worldly, right? It was like bigger than Hawaii. It was something that we could see on ESPN. It was something that was debated, right? As you see a mid-major team like ours climb the national polls, and you have to hear pundits talking about it all the time. Sorry. Okay. I just talked for like half an hour straight, so. I'm hoping, though, to have, more of Colt's teammates. Like I said, Reagan Maui'a, I know he wants to be a part of this program. I think tonight he had previously committed, but had something come up. So I think that's going to be important because, like I said, even those former players, you become a fan. In my opinion, you become a fan after you graduate. Once you're an alum, you're a fan of the team. And we've seen, players come in from every era at games. It was fun in the New Mexico Bowl. We saw somebody from the Holiday Bowl team because he wore his jersey. I got to make a video about that. That was fun. So it's like you never know where people will come out of who have ties to Hawaii, who have ties to the program. And the goal should be to keeping them. The goal should be to having them a part of the program so they never go back, right? And that's what we try and do, is create that community off the field as fans, something that myself and others within our fan base are trying to do, so that we can, continue to grow and continue to take advantage of all these people that, in a good way, but also take advantage of their love and spirit for Hawaii. Because at the end of the day, that is the ultimate, right? That's the ultimate motivation for us. It's just to see Hawaii be successful, to see the place that we are from be successful. That's it. That's not even a tangible thing. That's something you feel inside, right? And that's something that a lot of people don't understand when it comes to sports, right? Because obviously the game is so fun. Watching football is fun. Yes, obviously I can watch any football. But when we talk about Hawaii football, right? I have season tickets that I hope you can come and join us, Hawaii sports fans. Are you going to watch the Rams or your team playing at SoFi? Because you can sit on the visiting team tunnel on the 6th row from the field, right on the tunnel, and you and 3 of your friends. Some of the best seats in the entire world. Best seats in the world, not just at the stadium, the entire world. Let me know if you are an NFC West fan. I see some Seahawks, Niners, Cardinals fans. Also, we got the Jags coming in. We got TB12 coming in as well with the Bucks. So let me know, hisportsfans.com, or send me a private message if you're serious. And it's an experience. It might be a once-in-a-lifetime experience. So expect, to pay for it. I want to be honest, because this is what the NFL is going. There's where the NFL is going, and that's where football is going, and that's what turns off a lot of people as well. For some of us, hey, we can stick around for a while, right? We can say, like, oh, I'll pay this crazy amount of money for things because this is how much I love it. And for me, like, my love for football, particularly like for the NFL and for this team, it grows every year. It's something that I want to take advantage more of because of, like, how much it makes me happy. And when I say makes me happy, I mean, like, the moments I spend with my friends, the moments that I spend with my family, but also traveling, doing things I like to do that, and wearing the H logo on the mainland. Like, that's really fun. Those are just fun things to do. I have to pay for them. My retirement has to pay for them a lot of the times. But that's just a fun thing to do, and that's why I choose to do with my money. A lot of people choose to do certain things with your money, right? But things cost money. Sticker shock, well, is likely. I'm going to be honest with some of you, straight up. Because for season tickets, they want to do 150 to 200 in the end zones, and that's really cheap. That's like barely a one NFL game. Season tickets for is like one NFL game. Like, that's, let's keep it at that like rate, to be honest. And the best seats, even the best seat at for a season is way cheaper than the best seat in an NFL stadium. That's just the bear of the NFL. So for Hawaii fans, I mean, you're lucky you're not paying the NFL prices. But for NFL fans, you're lucky people like me have hookups for you. This is why you got to reach out, so you don't have to be crazy like me and just spend a bunch of money and get all these tickets, because we also have tickets to Kansas City, the world champion Kansas City Chiefs. Okay, that was last year, the year before. But that's fun. It's just fun to be in a stadium. It's just fun to be traveling. It's just fun to be in a situation where you can have memories for the rest of your life. Is that so bad to have? And I tell people all the time, how many funerals that I've gone to, I've never been to a funeral where people talk about how someone was a collector of homes, unless they had like maybe a son of homes and they were so good at collecting houses or buying cars. But those things are great, and those things are great to have. And those are another thing that people buy shoes, people buy hats, people buy, I'm not picking on Shane. People buy everything, that's just what they buy. But if you want to buy a great experience, it's hard to beat going to some of these games. Definitely going with Hawaii sports fans for sure. And this is something I want to provide, because it's brought me so much joy and happiness in my life. But at the same time, as I've gone to so many trips, as myself, as Wayne Coito, as Hawaii sports fans, taking tours, I continue to learn more about other programs, about other fan bases. I've met so many people everywhere. Boise, the Pimp Daddy, one of our favorites. It's incredible just to see their stories, and to hear, how they became such ardent fans of their teams, how they became so avid at getting up super early sometimes, and for these on-campus stadiums, which is a good thing sometimes as the on-campus stadiums, because there's no class on Saturday usually, and that campuses are empty, and you can use these auxiliary parking lots to tailgate in. And I'm not sure if is going to do that, but it would be a good time to start using some of those on-campus parking lots. But at the end of the day, that the team plans on being able to host, or the school plans to be able to host everybody in the stadium in the current parking garage, because the Stan Sheriff Center holds 10,000, which is going to be holding more than Ching Field. I think University High, Mid-Pac, St. Francis, those are a lot of good places that you could park and have tailgates. So, I mean, it's going to be on those owners probably of those places to be able to sell parking. But, you know, that's what's done in other stadiums and in other schools. So Hawaii is not completely reinventing the wheel. But when you have only 9,000 people that you can allow into the stadium, you're going to have to be extremely creative and extremely careful. And I say that because, one, you might not have people come back. Even if they're the best fans, they might just be like, nah, shoots. Like, Caden, I can't get into the stadium. All of my loyalty for how long I've been following this program, and what was the record for this team when I was following them as well. That would be a disaster to lose, hemorrhage even more. And that's scary because success alone is not going to just bring people back in the stadium. Like, stop with that already. We had 10-5, and we were losing fans every game up to the West Divisional game. Could barely get enough to win a divisional title. That's a red flag, and I already have been talking about that for a year. But now moving into a smaller stadium needs to be addressed more than it has been so far, because it's a little ambiguous. Like I said, we're going to give them time to go through this process of going through, you know, the order of the H club and whatever order they're going through. So for those who don't understand, if you are donating to the program, you're something called the H club, right? You have a H club membership donation level, and you have these different tiers based on how much you donate. So to donate to like the largest tier, I mean, there's like up to $10,000, right? So a lot of people are, you know, they'll donate a couple $100s a year, a couple thousand. You know, some people are really generous and will donate a huge chunk of, you know, their salaries. I mean, people who are not even rich people are donating a lot of money. And that is great as well, because that just shows how much they love the team. And a lot of people don't know about that. But right now they're in a position where they feel like they have to donate to get into the stadium. And that's the thing that is a little tricky as well, when you're, especially when you send out an invoice to tell people to know exactly the dollar amount that they need to kick up to the next level. And okay, and people are like, okay, well, how many levels do I need to go up, like, to guarantee tickets? I mean, what if I don't even? And I think a lot of people, I mean, I think at the end of the day, a lot of people are just going to sit back and wait at their level to see where, you know, the chips fall. But that's dangerous too, because a lot of people are going to be like, well, if I don't get tickets, well, I guess I'll just try and get in, you know, and like, you might never go back. But who knows? Maybe the new stadium and all of that, and that's something Stephen Tsai go and definitely look at the Stephen Tsai article he wrote today in the Star Advertiser about rethinking the stadium and what that's going to look like, just given you know, what's been happening lately, especially with money earmarked for certain public facilities. Sometimes it doesn't make it all the way there. So his vision would be rather to just focus on staying on campus forever. And I agree with that. And I think that is possible because I think there's enough square footage or acreage right there, first of all. And I mean, even if that, to go and get more, go for St. Francis or something, you know, huge, you can build it a lot of places. But I mean, we're not saying build a whole new stadium. We're talking about staying right there at Ching. So I don't want to get people to say, build a whole new stadium right there. I mean, like, building off of what we have there at Ching, but going big and thinking permanent. And that's what Stephen Tsai is saying as well. Like, think about this as forever, not just in the 3 years, or the 3 years that we hope that we won't be in the stadium, but actually look at this in terms of how can we be in this facility, this new Ching Field, or Colt Brennan Field, hopefully, Colt Brennan Field at Ching Complex, something like that. You know, that would be nice. How can we make this the forever field? And I think that's possible. Going to UCF, if you saw my show, and I talked about my visit to Central Florida, and their aluminum box of a field, which gets really loud and is pretty impressive, but it doesn't sit on very large amount of square footage. Like, it's pretty compact for 50,000. And we don't even need 50,000, right? We're talking about maybe 35. And you know, at this point, if we're talking about 9 and we have to keep pushing, then we're going to have to push for 30. And I think Steven Sice says 25, he believes, is the number. And yeah, 25, I think, if we got a solid 25 fans, I think 25,000, and we had a good mix of hardcore fans being able to be in the game and keep the program going, I think we could sustain off of that. But that would still have to require the prices to go higher, and everyday common fans being willing to do that. But in a new facility, yeah, if we made it a whole new facility and it's just not just bleachers pushed together, maybe. But we stand a chance to losing some of these people that would be a part of this by letting us go through this trial of a 9,000 year, or hopefully 9,000, and then the next year, hopefully 15. It's just dangerous at this point. So to help them out, you want to make symbolic gestures that cost no money, retire the number 15, name the field. This is from Reagan Maui'a himself. Name the field Colt Brennan Field. And I've heard this from other people as well. It's something he wants to start with his teammates. And we're going to have him come on and talk about this sometime when he can. But in an email that he sent to me, he'd like to see the field be named Colt Brennan Field. And I can agree with that. I can see, how that would be a good way of memorializing him. Obviously, retiring the number is important, but having his name permanently attached to something related to the program would be important as well. Just, especially if that just becomes a practice field, it'll be Colt Brennan Field, still be the field there. And that'll be important just to keep that legacy around the program, because that era we can learn so much from that as well. There's highs and lows of that time in 2007, 6, 5. And we still have some lessons to learn, I think. And I just hope there's enough time, because I feel like a lot of people take things for granted, right? They take the fans for granted. They take people coming back every year for granted. They take monies being allocated from the government for granted, or from the school for granted. Like, nothing is for granted. Nothing can be taken for granted. Everything has to be earned again, over and over again. And, at a certain point, the bubble is going to pop, right? Like, we have, like, Hawaii Tourism Authority, which is a separate deal, but not really. We have so many tourists, too many tourists that come to Hawaii, but we still have HTA. We still have a big budget. Like, how do we change that? How do we allocate those resources better to also promote a healthy, active lifestyle for local residents, and especially entertainment options like a solid Division I football team, which I think some of those dollars could be funneled there as well to help to promote tourism, yes, but also Hawaii as a sports destination, and Hawaii football as a part of that as well. Oh, looks like we do have, let's see if I can get him. Let's see if I can get, let's see if I can get the Juggernaut in here. Let's see if let me see. I see that Reagan is trying to actually log on right now, so I'll see if he's able to get on. But if not, we can, have him come next week, because he, I know, has a lot he wants to say as well. So let's see if we cannot. We'll move him till next week instead. But you see him right there, the Juggernaut himself. We hope to hear from him. So we're gonna try and get him next week. There's your preview right there. Mahalo everybody for joining us, though.
Wayne.
Oh, can you guys see? Oh, we can hear you. How's it going?
Wayne,
aloha, Reagan. How are you? How you been, bro?
I'm here, Uso. I'm good, man. How are you?
I've been good. I really appreciate you reaching out, and appreciate, all of the kind words. Just talk about how you heard about Colt, and just all of that, your experience there as well. Oh, I don't know if you can hear me still. Can you hear me still, Reagan? I know we have a little bit of.
I'm here, Uso.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
I'm here. I keep coming in and out.
No problem at all. But how's it been going? Just reflecting on the loss of our brother for you.
You know, we have good days, and some days are easier than others. Can you guys see me?
I don't think we can see you right now. So if you have the start video button, I can see if this is some right here in action type of thing. Oh, there we go. Okay, there we go. The man himself, the Juggernaut himself. Awesome.
I'm here.
Awesome. Wow, there you go.
What's up, Wayne?
Still got it. Still got it. Still
That's right,
got
baby.
it. What's life? Where are you
What's
at
up,
these
what's up?
days? Where are you at these days?
Man, I'm out in the desert, brother.
The desert. Not on the island
That's
life
right.
anymore then. We don't
You
catch
see
you on
that
the beach.
Masina? You see
Oh,
that
there you go.
Masina
There
behind
you
me?
go. Beautiful. Beautiful. Beautiful.
Yeah, buddy.
Well, we are honored to have you on here. You know, you're a guy that we talk about a lot because the era that you played in, you know, you're a guy that has the legend changing positions, going to the NFL, catching the ball in the backfield, running through drywall, which of course we got to talk about. I feel like, you know, that's something. But at the end of the day, you know, you at UH and the Ohana, that vibe that you folks created on that team, I mean, that's something that was, you know, is clearly has stayed with you for, you know, for years. And just that kinship you have with your brothers and the Usos on the team, you know, I know that's something that's important to you still. And you know, talk about a little bit about that.
05, 06, 07, right? Some of the best years of football I've ever played in my life. Best years of football I've ever played in my life. 05, 06, and 07. And
well,
that's coming from somebody that's been, you know, been here and there. You know what I mean? Those are some of the most unforgettable years of my life, and I still trying to catch my breath from those years, you know. Jeez.
Well, you know, you've been a guy that has been through, like you said, a lot. People, you got a journey yourself behind you, and everybody goes through a journey, right? There's a life journey. People don't realize the athlete, and then you are graduate or you move on to the world. There's that transition, and there's a lot that you know, you got to go through personally as an athlete. And Colt, obviously, as our brother, you know, he had his times, he had his moments, but he always inspired us. He always taught us lessons. And you know, what are some of your lessons that you learned from Colt as well?
All right, don't laugh. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Of course, the first thing you do is laugh. All right, one of the first things. All right, this is funny, man, but this is straight from one Uso to another. Okay. One of the first things I can remember, and he won't let me forget this, is how he taught me how to shave.
Ah, nice. That's a good memory. That is a great memory.
Yeah. He taught me this little trick. I didn't do it today, but on our next interview, I'll show you.
Okay.
I just woke up from my nap, you know.
Oh, you're good.
I sound kind of like.
Well, we're gonna, like you said, we'll bring you on the next time to talk about, you know, the Reagan Maui'a story. But we know that you have been, you know, feeling the desire to search out more answers, because a lot of us, you know, we wonder what happened to Colt, or we wonder, you know, what more can we have done. But I feel like you, like you said, you had been searching out for answers, and you know, you learned a lot. And just talk about some of the things you might have found comfort in, or things that you might have heard from Colt.
Okay. The reason why I started off with that shaving lesson. Hi, son. And my son with me right here.
Cute.
You mind if I bring him on?
Oh, bring him on, please. Please bring him on. Oh, there's our future UH right there.
Hi. That's right. This is my youngest. This is Mose.
Mose, how's it, Mose?
Say what's up.
Malo, there
Say
you
what's up,
go.
brother Wayne. What's up,
Chee.
brother Wayne? I got the la
Yeah.
ears. You got
You got
the
the
la
la
ear
yeah.
boy. Yeah.
La yeah boy action.
Yeah. Hello, mama. Hello, mama. Hello, mama. Hey, this is my life today, brother.
Mm-hmm.
You
I
know?
love it. Mm-hmm.
Hello, mama. Hello, mama. Okay. He's chasing moths around my
Cute.
backyard right now.
So cute. Cute.
I wanted this interview to be as organic as I can be.
Absolutely.
Bro.
And this is
as
exactly
real
what
as
we
I
do
can
here.
be.
Absolutely.
You know, because to honor you and your program and your platform, Muso, like I don't want to just come up on. I don't want to come up on here like.
Actually, was a fan. I had credentials for that.
Halfway, you know what I mean? I want to come up here like full on Juggernaut mode.
Yeah. Well, the Juggernaut mode, we want just the real you, you know, whatever you want to say, because, you know, I know, like we all, and the thing about us as fans too in Hawaii, like we love.
Can you hear me okay, Wayne?
Oh yeah, we can hear you perfectly.
Cool.
You know, and I think like, you know, we feel like you guys need have that platform still, because people will say your names in streets, you know, say your names in the store and tailgates, and you never get to hear more than just the athlete side. So we want to hear like, you know, how life is and how, you know, but you know how you have been affected personally as well, because that's important, you know, for all of us as well.
Yeah, when this news came in, I was son. Oh wow. Yeah, I fucked that. Sorry, brother. Hold on.
No problem.
I am 1,000% like daddy mode.
I love it. No, we want to see this. We want to see this.
I gotta either be like Juggernaut daddy mode or just daddy mode. Tell you, my son is funny, man. Like, oh man, like all I want to do is just take him to Hawaii. So
yes.
Hold on, bro.
No, you're good. We got our boy Reagan Maui'a joining us from the desert. You know, if you remember him, he started off with a D-line. He ended up in the backfield. And Coach June Jones magnificently using Reagan to add more dynamic action to the Hawaii offense. We were running the run and shoot back then, obviously, but you remember him, like, you know, lining up in like a hitch or somewhere that, you know, June Jones could meet him, and then he's back again. But, you know, one thing about we appreciate about Reagan was him reaching out to us since you know, to remember our boy Colt, and something we brought up today, and something, a campaign maybe we want to start. Besides retiring his number is, you know, the name of the field and
yes, love. So, drive that home, Wayne.
Yeah,
let's go, Wayne.
For sure. Let's do this. And talk about why that's something that would be important to you as well.
For Colt, you know, it's not enough, man. It's just not enough to say like we had a day for him, or that we like that we just celebrated, you know, through, you know, conversations here and there. It's more of like we gotta keep his memories alive.
Yeah.
Also, you know what I mean? Like
forever.
He wasn't just a hero. Forever.
Yeah.
Forever, brother. Like he wasn't just a hero to just some people. You know what I mean? Like this man is a legend.
Yes.
And I say is because his mana is still with us.
Yes, absolutely. 100.
Come on, Wayne.
100.
Say that.
His mana is still with us right now. I can feel it. I feel the chicken skin right now, honestly saying it right now.
That's right.
I feel it, and I know that his presence will always be with us.
I got that
his spirit will always
right
be
behind me.
You feel it. I feel it. I feel that energy.
Masina,
I feel that. I feel that from the Masina there. I feel it.
His light still shines, bro. You know? Like, just a mention of his name, you know, echoes love.
Yes.
It amplifies greatness and gratitude, and and appreciation for his sacrifices.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
No one really knew how much pain this man had to go through.
No.
You know, let's talk about that, Wayne.
Yeah. Let's talk about it.
You know what I mean? Like, at the end of his run, at the end of his drive, like Maui'a was still in pain. You know? And that's something that I want to talk about, because the pain that us athletes live with, it's not just the physical side, man.
Yeah.
You know, there's mental, there's spiritual. You know what I mean? Like, all these tied up in emotions, and a lot of us can't handle it. You know, and a lot of us are doing what we can with what we know.
Yeah.
With what we have, with what we are afforded, you know, or with what knowledge that we've attained, you know. And I know this is part of my grieving, and I'm not afraid to touch on it, because I know I got to go through this.
Yes.
Right. And I want to encourage, and I'm hoping that this talk between us, Wayne, is going to inspire and reach someone who's still in pain.
Yes. Yeah. And I think you will. And I think speaking out does that, for one thing. Just being open and sharing love, not just sharing like things, sharing love for others. How often, you know, as men too, right? We don't do enough of that. And I think like Colt, he appreciates that. He appreciates the love from everybody.
Yes, love.
And I do definitely feel his mono with us.
That's definitely one of the things that resonates with all of Hawaii and all of just football fans anywhere. I don't care who you are, what team you play for, what team you like growing up. If you knew this man and you knew his journey and what Colt has been able to accomplish in his short life, like, you'll learn to appreciate a legend in Colt Brennan.
Yes.
You know, you learn to appreciate the sacrifices that one person made, not for himself. It was never about Colt. That's one thing that I really appreciate about the Usos, that it was never about him. It was never, he never spoke about himself in that way, in that light. You know, it was always about his Usos. It was always about his team, his you know, his family. You know what I mean? And he always talked greatly about the people of Hawaii, man.
Yeah.
Why is that? Why is that? Because this is home, baby.
That's right. Absolutely.
This is home, man. And a lot of us still call it home because, you know, we may come from, we may have birthrights elsewhere, but when we landed all in Hawaii, we all became her sons. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
We all became Hawaii's warriors, rainbow warriors that we still are today, man.
Yes.
You know what I mean? And if I'm rambling on, Wayne, just cut me off.
No, keep going. I'm feeling it. No, I love it.
Wayne,
I'm enjoying everything.
This is the part where I want to be honest about with people is that I know you guys know me as the Juggernaut, and then I'm always this symbol of strength, you know, of unstoppable ability and force, right? That's just my mentality. But I want to be honest with people also that with my mental health, like, this is how I have to remember memories. I have to keep telling stories in a format that is going to lead me back to where we are today, you know? And when I was talking about his pain, his physical pain, the mental health that we're all trying to heal from.
Yes.
I think our spiritual is the one that drives us home.
Mm.
You know, is the one that holds us home, because our mana it never uh, it never it never fails us.
Yep.
It never withers. It never goes away. And that's why Colt's mana is still on that island, bro.
Yep.
Colt's mana is still on that island.
Yes, absolutely.
It's still on that island.
You say
man.
it.
Like,
I feel that mana.
Come on, man.
I feel that. I actually was in Kona last week. I went there first, and I could
Nice.
feel his presence there. Just what he left there on that part of the island, and how much he just loved Hawaii. Like he said, he gave back. I mean, the video of him saying he wants to come back to Hawaii for a senior year, I mean, still makes people cry because it was so pure. It had nothing to do with anything but just wanting to give people of Hawaii something to be proud of, and that's amazing.
Nah. For Hawaii to feel that energy from Colt, man, that's something that we can live with for the rest of our lives. That right there is a gift. You know what I mean? Like an ultimate sacrifice of one person's physical, his mind, you know what I mean, his spiritual. Like he gave it all for Hawaii, man. You know, like we made room for our Uso, you know, in our huddle, and he was a perfect fit. You know, he was a perfect fit into our puzzle from 05, 06, and 07. You know, with Tyler Grunk and Colt, man, like we had the perfect, you know, run and shoot package, man. And Wayne, man, like
it was the best.
And Wayne, like I know I was a Rainbow Warrior fan before with Jesse Sapolu and you know what I mean, all the OG Usos, but man, no one can change our years. No one can change our years, and no one can take our years away from us.
Absolutely not.
And you know what I mean, with Devon Best, like Samson Satele, like Talai Sarah, man, Nate.
Talai Sarah, yes, that's a name we gotta bring up more. We don't talk about him enough. Yes, right. For sure.
Hey,
for sure.
Hey, I got my boy Tala on the roster.
There you go. I love it. There you go. Rocking the dreads. Yes,
I know you can't. I know you can't see my dreads.
Yes,
man,
we can see it. We got the dread
man.
action. Love it.
Yeah.
You know, it's
man. I just wanted to be on here with you, Wayne. I hope I can be a formidable voice for a lot of us Usos who are hurting. You know. And sisters too, you know what I mean? Like,
yes.
You know what I'm saying? Like I know an entire nation of people are hurting, man, because like a true legend has been taken from us, right?
Yeah.
And Colt Brennan, and the way he went too, like I'm still waiting on more to come in, but just to hear like how Maui'a went is saddening, man.
I feel the grief.
It's saddening.
It does. I feel it.
And, you know, Wayne, and I felt it in a lot of your messages too, Uso. Like thank you again. I want to make this public, man.
Thank you.
Your interview with Colt is the reason why I'm here today on this platform, this very minute, this very moment, to share with you like his gratitude. Because I saw in his face, Wayne, like I saw, man, I was like, man, my Uso's laid back.
Yeah.
He had no shoes on, like the phone kept flipping over. You kept seeing his crusty toes. Yeah. I'm like, damn, Colt, put some shoes on, Uso. He had his feet all up on the camera.
He was. He's like, local style all the way.
Oh, that boy is straight local, man. Like through and through.
All the way.
Through,
man. To the very end.
And that, you know, that was one thing, man, that stood out more than a lot of his accolades and his abilities, and was how he fit perfectly into the Polynesian puzzle, man. Like that boy, like you can take him anywhere. You know what I mean? Like
you could
take him anywhere.
And he caught the vibe.
And he was accepted, man. Like he was accepted. Like people felt his energy. You know what I mean? His energy was pure. His energy was energy of a God's son. You know, like he taught me how to pray, man.
Wow.
You know, him and CJ Hawthorne and man, my boy Mississippi. Shout out Mississippi.
Yeah.
I call him Mississippi, but everybody
Yeah,
knows him as
CJ
CJ
Hawthorne.
Hawthorne.
Shout out.
Man,
Yeah.
that
Wow.
yeah, those are some of the key pillars that we had on those teams that no one really talks about, because yeah, we don't have the this and that to show, but man, if you really got to know us in those times, we weave together like a fine mat. Like straight Iekomas from Samoa, man. Like we weave and wove each other like through the love that God made for us. Like none of us knew that we were going to experience 05, 06, and 07 the way we did until we got there. You know, when we felt June Jones's presence in that first meeting, we felt the mana that was going to carry us through any of our hardships, any of our tough flights. Oh man. Some of those flights to just go play another school, like a lot of teams don't realize, you know, that we had players on our team that were almost flight restricted because of their fear of flights.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and we had man, like trust me, we got closer to God than people understood. You know what I mean? Like, we were 30,000 feet above, so we were really close to God.
Definitely, you're even closer to God. You're barely right at the doorstep already.
Wayne, we were like, Lord, if this is our season,
don't let it happen.
Please carry us, man, on our trips to like Michigan State, Alabama, like some of those like faraway schools that we had to make. We had to come together as brothers, like real Uso, like real, like meaning of the word Usos. And
exactly.
I mean, we prayed together, we cried together, you know what I mean? We held each other together in some of the toughest moments in our lives. Tougher than the NFL, man. Tougher than the NFL. Tougher than probably Canada football or arena football or whatever else that you know that we have gone through and we're returning from. And I know Colt took those years of football, like he drove that all the way through, man. Like he went NFL, right? Even after such a strenuous career in college ball, he went to the NFL. He played in the AFL. I mean, even if you play one play, bro, like you played, man, and that one play could have been your all, right? Yeah. But he played, and he continued to showcase heart, man. Like so much heart. He pushed his body to the limits. You know, and sometimes, Wayne, like this body can only go so far. Not sometimes, man. We know that to be the truth. This body can only take us so far, man. Like it is our mana that carries us the rest of the way. The first three letters of your name, Wayne, it says way, WAAYNE. You know what I mean? Like you're the way, Uso. Like you're making a way for us to connect. You know what I mean, Wayne? And I truly like Wayne, thank you, Uso. Thank you, man. Because what you've been, man, like reading your story, Uso, like reading like your inspirations and man. I know I sound like a bunch of rambling going on, but I really don't care, Uso. I really don't care, man, because this is how I would talk to Colt.
Yeah. That's powerful. I want you to keep going. Yeah, it's powerful.
Be honest with you, like this is how I would talk to him. When I seen him after his car accident, and I seen him in Arizona, right? Because I was here with the Cardinals, and we were gonna have Bible study, and my physical therapist said, "Hey, we're gonna have Bible study at my house, and Colt Brennan is gonna be there." I'm like,
what? No.
What?
Wow.
You know, but it wasn't a surprise because I mean, you talk about God and you
Yeah,
talk about,
that's true.
you
Yeah.
know, the work of Christ. You know what I'm saying? Like Mauso's part of that. He's
Mm-hmm.
part of that story,
Mm-hmm.
man.
Mm-hmm.
And his relationship with God is beautiful. You
Mm.
know what I mean? Is a lot better than a lot of ours.
Mm.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
people talk about this and that, like all of this in the media, man. Don't listen to none of that
Mm.
because you really don't know Colt
Yeah.
until
Yeah.
you sat down with him and had a real conversation about God, about him, about his family. You know what I'm saying? About, hey,
Mm-hmm.
how you shave like that?
Yeah.
Like this, bro.
Yeah.
He's like, man, this is
Yeah.
all I do, right? Like
Yeah.
some tricks here and there just to get you, because
Yeah.
right after practice in the morning, Wayne, like you got to get you have probably like 10 to 15 minutes to get ready, get dressed, go to your first class,
Wow.
and you still got to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
you still have to make time for eat. So you had to learn how to shave real quick.
Wow.
And that
That
was
is a
one
great.
and
I
that was
love
one of the
that. The
things,
rest of
man.
your
And
life,
that
you'll
was one of the
always
things
remember
that he
that.
was
Yeah.
like, yeah, he was like, Uso, just try it like this. And it was like the simplest. I'm like, man, bro, I appreciate this, but this is one of the coolest things. Man, you could take a full beard and like just with a
Yeah.
few tricks here and there, you like, dang. You know how Colt always looked like he was like
Yeah.
interview ready?
Of
I was
course, he
like, man,
knew. He knew those cameras were rolling.
you always knew. Man, it was just these two simple tricks, man. He was like, man, just bang bang and you're good. I was like, all right.
Wow. I love
The
it.
most
See?
accurate,
Mm-hmm.
quarterback
Mm-hmm.
in college history, bro.
Mm-hmm.
That boy,
Mm-hmm.
he knew his
Mm-hmm.
timing. You know what I
Yep.
mean? He
Absolutely.
was like, I
Yep.
got about 9 minutes to get to class, and
Yeah.
I got 3 minutes to.
Precision. Precision to the
Yeah,
microsecond, no doubt.
precision.
I mean, how many players in the history of football could squeeze some of those balls through the
Ooh,
windows that he did? And he made it look easy too.
man.
He made it, and he and almost like he made it look too easy for the NFL because he almost looked so daring to them. But we just knew that that's who he was. That's who he was.
They were
He took.
scared of Colt.
Yeah, they're
They were
scared. Yeah.
scared of Colt. They were scared of Colt. Knowing the kind of quarterback coaches that I know now, like
Mm-hmm.
going through the NFL, they were scared of Colt, man. Because June Jones, right, and Coach
Mm-hmm.
like Mac and all of the greats, they taught him
Yeah.
like a certain type of football.
Of course.
You know that the NFL really didn't touch on a lot.
Yeah. Yeah.
But his timing.
Yeah.
His timing, man. His timing was everything, bro.
Just incredible watching some of those old highlights. Like, man, what we were just like so spoiled, just freaking spoiled for sure.
Yeah, we were. Yeah, we were, man. Us too.
Ah.
Us too. As players that have played with him, man. We knew we had something special, and we knew that we needed to take care of him in a certain manner. You know what I mean? That's why like Colt never went anywhere alone.
Yeah.
He was always protected. You know what I mean? He was always protected.
Wow.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you know, I messaged you that we needed to do something for him.
Yeah.
For all that he's done for us, Wayne.
Yes.
Like,
Yes.
man, like for all of those nights and days that he has stood out in the sun, stood out after games to sign autographs, to take pictures, to just to say what's up, to shake a hand, to give a hug. For all of those moments, for all of those times, I would like for everyone that he has signed something for or give something his time to, or, you know, made time for, like, come together, for all of us to come together and do something special for Colt.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And allow his legendary memory live on.
Yes. Yes.
You know?
Yes.
Like we have to bring it home for him, man. And the only way I know how, Wayne, is to present him and his family, you know, our field.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the field that we bled on, the field that we sweat, that we broke limbs, that we gave part of us to that ele, to that land, to that field. It was a battlefield for us. I call back. It was a battlefield for us, Wayne. Mm. We didn't know if we were going to make it home a lot of those nights. Mm. And that's just real.
Yeah.
That's just God honest truth, Wayne. A lot of us, and I'm watching a lot of the the games are coming, and I haven't seen this so long. Like, I'm just getting messages and like messages and messages of like, watch this game, remember these ones, remember these moments. And it is doing a lot of good for me. Mm-hmm. Mentally. It's allowing me to tap into the amygdala to help, you know what I mean? Like parts of my brain that I've like kind of shelved, mm-hmm. you know, like just kind of put to the side or filed here and there. But those memories are, man, on fire, bro. Like,
good, because you want to hear them.
What he did in the second half of that ASU game.
Yeah.
Man, him and Jay Rivers is going. Yeah. Man, shout out Jay Rivers. Man.
Yeah, shout out to
all
Jason
my
Rivers.
Usos, all my Warriors.
For sure. Man. I mean, when you look back at a game like that, I mean, national TV, and that's the game after where Colt was asked about the NFL, and he was like, you know, and that's kind of like the Colt mania was starting to kind of really reach a national tilt as well, because, and you would think, for a lot of people, a boy from Southern California, he's going to come into here and, you know, make a name for himself and then take his name somewhere. He never, his name was Hawaii, right? He was Hawaii first and then Colt Brennan second, for sure.
That's awesome, man. I love that. Colton, Hawaii, James.
Yeah, there you go. Colton, Hawaii.
James Brennan.
Colton, Laie, Kahuku, North Shore, Brennan. But, you know, that just shows how much he loved.
That is the longest. That is the longest Chiefs title I've ever heard in my life.
You get up, pal. I can see it. Colt Wood. You can imagine with that, him with one of those, man.
Yeah, man, that's awesome. That's funny, Wayne. That's awesome. Wayne, like, that's the truth, man. That's the truth. He wore the entire island on his head.
Yes.
It was just to show us that Hawaii will forever be a part of him.
Of course.
You know what I mean? And 50, 100 years from now, they're still going to remember his name, Wayne. They may not remember mine, but they're going to remember Colt Brennan, man.
Absolutely, yeah.
You know what I mean? That's the truth, Wayne.
Yeah.
That's the truth. I can speak about my Uso because I know him. I know him on a different level from a lot of the fans, and this is my way of speaking to the fans through, you know, for him to just, a lot of what I can say is what Cole will probably never talk about.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So I just want to bring some comfort, bring some light and clarity, you know, to a lot of our fans who are still, you know, hurting.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like as someone who has shared like blood, sweat, and tears with Colt, like I want to share this message of light with everyone that, you know, that he is more peaceful now than he has ever been.
Yes.
He is more at peace now than he has ever been. And I hope this message reaches his family, man, his mom, his dad, his sisters, you know, his mana will forever be with us, will always be with us, you know, and I know that just us sharing, like, you know, a moment about, you know, their son and their brother, right? I hope it brings them like a warm energy, a warm sense of comfort into their home.
Yeah,
because it's never easy losing someone you dearly love, someone who is your life.
Yeah.
You know, Wayne?
Yeah.
And a lot of us feel like that lifeline has been cut short. But man, like, we can hear Colt now more than ever. You know,
That's right. You see him everywhere. You're gonna get memories.
Wayne
Yep.
Oos, I hear him so much now, more than so. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
And I appreciate that, because I know a lot of my Usos are hurting. I know a lot of my Usos have gone through what I'm going through. You know, just the discomfort of not knowing. There's the discomfort of uncertainty. You know what I mean, Wayne? Like it's not easy, man. And I'm speaking from someone who is healing. You know, like I'm not speaking from a place of hurt.
Yeah.
I'm speaking from a position of healing, and I hope that I can send that message through our conversation here today. You know, we're just talking story. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like,
just talking story.
We're just talking story.
Yeah.
And this is the best way to do it, because this is more real than a lot of interviews that you can get. You know what I mean? Like I want to talk about some real stuff. Yeah. But a lot of people aren't ready for that.
No, they're not.
You know what I mean?
You know,
and I appreciate you, man.
Oh, thank you.
Oh.
Thank you.
I feel like I could just be myself. I'm in my backyard, barefooted. My feet are on the ground. Like the machina behind me. It was so like I'm really enjoying this, man, Wayne, and I appreciate you, brother. Like this is doing a lot more healing than I expected. You know, just to be able to share, and I feel like I'm sharing with all of Colt's, nation. You know what I mean? The people that he has been able to reach, people like generations. Also, like I'm watching some of the games, and he's signing autographs and taking pictures with kids who are now in the NFL.
Yeah, true. Yeah, that Marcus picture is freaking classic.
That Marcus
Mariota,
picture. That BJ Fihoko.
That's right, Fihokos. Yep. That's right. All those guys that got to see him. Man, shout out to Vili. We give him a lot of shout outs lately.
Boys, man.
You know,
hey, Vili's the true warrior.
Oh, Vili the warrior.
That's the original warrior right there,
Vili, man. I mean, we miss that guy and the energy.
Hey, you gotta bring him. You gotta bring him on, man. Hey,
Uncle that's right.
He's looking healthy. He's been training. He's been working out, man. He's looking. He's giving me some competition, man. Uncle Vili, boy.
Uncle Vili, he's gonna be right there next to you on the bench, counting every rep.
Oh man,
for sure.
Love that guy, man. Yeah. His energy. You seen that one where he picks Colt up like? Oh. Like a bag of rice, just like, hey, that guy is strong, man. That guy.
Oh, that guy is
in the
cool.
NFL right there.
You don't
man.
even know, probably.
You ever shook? Hey, have you ever shook Vili the Warrior's hands?
No, I don't know if I ever gave my handshake. Maybe.
Ooh. I'll let you experience that for yourself.
I gotta have that. I gotta have the Vili the Warrior choke handshake for sure. Death grip.
You ever shook a brick? You ever held a brick in your hand?
Yeah, I held a brick in my hand. Yeah, it sounds about right.
That's straight up, man. Like,
wow.
First time I shook Vili the Warrior's hand, I thought I was holding a 45-pound plate. I was like, whoa!
What a yeah.
And he was coming out of the weight room with his boys. BJ, all of them. B. And Feely.
Yeah.
I was like, Wheatley.
Shout out Linda as well. That lady is the truth right there. It's cheerleader, but more than that, she's a boss, man. So we got to shout out Auntie Linda Fihoko.
Beautiful. That's right, man.
That's right.
Man, Wayne, you know everybody is.
I mean, I've been lucky. A lot of these people, become like family, like you said. This in Hawaii football, we're blessed because our program is at that place where we can develop these relationships. Sometimes you can lose sight in a bigger program. you can disconnect. But that's the power of this program, is the mana. That's the problem, is that a lot of
That's
some,
right.
well, that's the power. The problem is some of us undervalue that, or we don't understand it. And that's something that the islands, that's the magic that comes from the place and of our people. And through Polynesia and all of us were brought together from every corner of, you know, of Asia Pacific Rim. I mean, we're so lucky and so blessed. I mean, just to have the names, like you said, on our field, or just to have like the Eseras and the Maui'as and the Ilawas and a Colt Brennan and a CJ Hawthorne and a Ryan Geist-Mullen. Like, where can you find that anywhere else?
Legends,
you know, where can you have those names all in one place? And I think it's beautiful. You know, Blaze Soares, all these guys that come from Hawaii too. That add that local, like
Leonard Peters,
of course.
Lono Manners.
Lono Manners, that's a good name too, right there. I mean, some of those hard-hitting guys that come, like you said, like it's the mana that they bring, and that's more than just the power. That's more than just aggression. That's also the power of the love that's between all of them as well, and that's something that is hard to measure. And the heart. And I remember 60 Minutes going to Samoa. I remember in Domata Peko, when they went to his house in Samoa, and at the very end they said it wasn't Domata's size; it's the size of his heart. That's the difference. That's what Samoans are bringing. That is so people true, don't see. They want to see the Juggernaut go through buildings, but they don't want to see the love sometimes. They don't understand that part, and they're not ready for it sometimes. And this is that forum to make, you know, to give that space, but also to give that comfort, because we know our athletes are you know, are multi-dimensional, and they have that, obviously the physical part, but the spirit, like you talked about, that is ultimately what is going to,
man,
you know, carry us over. You just give me some well, we were blessed. We were blessed with the Juggernaut spirit tonight, and we want to bring you back on again for sure. But you know, mahalo for showing us and sharing about our brother Colt, because like you said, it's healing. It's healing for all of us.
It is, Wilson. It is, man. It heals us even more to be able to share his name in light. You know, and we need to do more of that.
Yes.
We have to continue to cultivate that, Wayne, because a lot of misconceptions can come from the media, the mainstream.
Yes.
But it is through platforms that as organic as yours. You know what I mean? Shout out to all the high sports fans, man.
mahalo. Shout out to all of them.
Thank you guys so much. Everybody, the panel, all of it, man. Thank you guys, the fans. You guys have been cultivating this little safe haven for us warriors, man, that have, you know, from the past, the present, through the future. Now you guys are making a way for us to speak our hearts, speak our truth, you know, and speak some light on a lot of the darkness that's going on, you know, in these days. And like you said, man, like we are multidimensional, because it's I can feel it, bro.
Yeah,
you know
I can feel it too.
Like, I can feel your energy, bro.
I feel yours, bro.
All the way from
I can
here,
feel it.
man. I appreciate it, man.
I appreciate you coming on.
Thank you. So I'm going to be back in Hawaii soon.
Okay,
and,
great.
I like to come home, you know, with a gift for Colt and his family. You know what I'm saying? And I want to bring it home to Hawaii, because that is Colt's home, man.
Yes.
In your interview, he talked about, you know, putting his roots down in Hawaii. He talked about moving forward as a coach. He talked about his future life in Hawaii, right?
Yeah.
And he was only coming to California for treatment and family and whatnot. So he was supposed to come back home. Right?
Yeah, he was.
So let's make a way for him.
Absolutely. Wayne. Yes, let's do that.
Let's make a way for him to come home. All right? Let's do this right. Let's bring him home on this beautiful wave. You know what I mean? Like, so he can just ride, just cruise on his way in.
Cruising to the sunset.
And yeah, man, and just give him and present to him and his family the Colt Brennan Field.
Yes. Yes.
The Colt Brennan Field needs to happen.
Yes.
Why? Because that man gave his life on that ground that we're about to embark and enjoy and celebrate as fans and just go on with our lives. But we need to remember those that have come before us.
Yes.
The past, the present, and the future. This is vital, Wayne, because this is where we make our stand for what's right. You know what I mean? Shout out to the Ching dynasty and the Ching family. No disrespect, but I don't know TC. I don't know that. I know Colt Brennan.
Yes. Yeah.
I've seen Colt Brennan.
Yeah.
Witness what he's been able to give for this sacred ground that we're about to just enjoy. You know what I mean? We're breaking ground that we've already bled on. We've already sweated and broke.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think we need to do this and make a strong enough stand, you know, for our voice to be heard.
Yeah.
And it's not even for us.
No, not at all.
Right, Wayne? And that's the greatest thing about it. We're doing, this isn't for us. It's more for what's right, to leave this legend's name on solid ground, on solid foundation. You know what I mean? He came to Hawaii for a second chance at life, and we gave him that.
Yeah.
Hawaii gave him that. That's why he calls Hawaii home. And we should make a home for him. We have made room in the huddle for him. We have made room in our hearts in Hawaii for him. We need to make room on that field for his name.
Absolutely.
The Colt Brennan Field. Period.
Yep. Period. Period. I love it.
Yes.
And we're going to start this more than a movement. It's a way that we can heal. It's a way we can remember, and it's a way that we can honor the sacrifice, like you said, that he gave on that field, the mana that he left on that very dirt right there, that's still there, that the players will feel when they walk on. I remember that name, Colt Brennan, forever.
Right.
Well, we will just send a special mahalo to our uso, Reagan Maui'a, and we're just so grateful for you sharing a part of your journey, and we're definitely going to have you back, and we're excited to catch up with you in Hawaii as well soon, Uso. Awesome.
Thank you,
all right.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you for your time. Thank you for your energy, Uso, and thank you for your vision. Thank you, Wayne.
Mahalo. I appreciate it. Our boy Reagan Maui'a. Mahalo. To our friends all across the world in Hawaii. From Reagan Maui'a, I'm Wayne Coito. Take care, guys. We'll see you next time. Aloha.